Good evening. I'm Megan O'Mara here with Science News at 6, and yes, I will be smiling this intensely the entire time. Unlike most of the news, tonight's story will not be absolutely soul-crushing. Tonight's story: is there another planet besides Earth that could host human life, or will global warming doom us all? Earth is a very unique place, and to help us understand it better, we have astronomy specialist Megan O'Mara on the phone. Thanks, Megan. So here we have a layout of the galaxy. As you can see, the sheer size of the planets in the Milky Way vary greatly. While Earth is not the smallest planet, it certainly is much smaller than many others. Our galaxy's star, the Sun, is massive compared to the size of the rest of the planets. Earth could not be more perfectly placed to support human life. Earth is the third planet from the Sun, which allows our planet to have the ideal temperature and conditions to live despite the rising global temperatures. Mars also appears to have temperature conditions that could support human life. However, the lack of water and resources discovered with the growing cost of space travel makes it an unlikely home for humans for a while. Earth's surface is primarily made up of water, 71% to be exact. Our atmosphere is incredible as its a unique makeup of nitrogen and oxygen are held together by Earth's gravity. Unless Elon Musk can step away from his Tesla truck to design affordable spaceships, it appears that Earth is the only sustainable planet for us now. What are the key aspects that make Earth livable besides our amazing and fragile atmosphere and our equally as delicate oceans? Well, Earth is a living planet. Our planet is lucky enough to have a buddy we call the Moon. The Moon keeps our orbit stable as well as our climates. The Moon is also the cause for the tides, and thank goodness not for the Crimson Tide. Some scientists argue that the first life forms began in tide pools, so thanks to the Moon for giving us those features. The Earth also has a stable rotation. The regularity and stability of Earth's rotation on an axis gives us stable night and day, as well as a consistent routine to orbit the Sun. Earth is lucky enough to have its own magnetic field as well. While you can't see it, it protects us every single day. And what is it protecting us from? Well, there are many harmful rays out there in space that want to visit Earth. Unfortunately, these visitors are not so friendly. The magnetic field keeps those harmful rays from damaging our friendly atmosphere and surface. And that's the tea. Back to you, Megan. Thank you, Megan. Now we have Megan O'Mara live in the field to demonstrate the scale of our galaxy that shares a name with a subpar candy bar. Thank you, Megan. As you can see, conditions out here are absolutely perfect today, unlike the current state of our planet. However, the sheer scale of our universe is absolutely fascinating when you think about Earth's place in our galaxy. Could you tell us more about the scale of the universe? Much like our hopes and dreams of marrying rich, the scale of our galaxy and universe are far too great for the average person to believe or understand. After all, there are flat earthers out there. Sad but true, Megan. In order to show the scale of our galaxy, we've come out here to the college equivalent of a JV football team, otherwise known as Auburn University. If we were to scale our sun down to the size of a volleyball, then our Earth would be no bigger than just a pencil eraser. And if we were to scale the distance of our pencil eraser to our volleyball, then it would be 25 yards away. Otherwise known as the distance of a kickback if your kicker is Rodrigo. Now back to you, Megan. Thank you, Megan. Up next we have former astronaut Megan O'Mara, who was a part of the first all-woman spacewalk. However, she was unable to be pictured because she was running late. Thank you so much for coming, Megan. Thank you so much for having me, Megan. What would you say was the most valuable thing you learned while in space? That spacesuits are dry clean only and will shrink in the dryer. While you were in space, what did you notice about Earth? While I was in space, I was able to see the distribution of light on the Earth. The tilt of the axis is responsible for our Earth's seasons, so it was really incredible to see that in real life. Can you elaborate a little more on that? So the Earth is actually tilted on its axis instead of being straight up and down, and this is responsible for the Earth's seasons, contrary to the belief that it's the distance from the Sun. The northern hemisphere actually experiences its winter when we're closest to the Sun. The tilt of the Earth axis allows the distribution of heat and light to be uneven on the Earth, causing the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere to experience seasons at different times. So, do you think there are other planets similar to Earth that also have seasons? Any planet that has an axis would have seasons, and there's lots of planets in our own galaxy that have seasons because of their uneven distribution from the sun. But it's really unlikely so far that we found a planet that meets all of Earth's criteria, but there could be one out there. Absolutely incredible. Thank you, Megan. Now we have meteorologist Megan O'Mara with more information on those seasons. Thank you, Megan. The Earth has many incredible patterns that occur due to its rotation around the sun, its interactions with the moon, and the Earth's tilt. The Earth's axis is tilted at 23.5 degrees, and this tilt is constant throughout the year. So what does this mean? This means that the direction the Earth points in does not change throughout the year. The tilt is the cause for the Earth's seasons and why the northern and southern hemispheres experience opposite seasons throughout the year. For example, during December, the northern hemisphere experiences winter as it is tilted away from the sun. The southern hemisphere experiences summer as it is tilted towards the sun. It is a common misconception that the distance of Earth to the sun is the reason for the seasons. However, this is incorrect. Earth is actually closest to the sun during the months of December and January, which is when the northern hemisphere experiences winter. The Earth moves in an elliptical or oval-shaped orbit around the sun rather than a perfect circle. The points at which the axis points furthest away from the sun and closest to the sun are called solstices. The winter solstice occurs in December. This day marks the shortest day and longest night of the year. During the winter solstice, the sun is directly above 23.5 degrees south, also known as the Tropic of Capricorn, at its highest point. The summer solstice occurs in June. This day marks the longest day and shortest night of the year. During the summer solstice, the sun is directly above 23.5 degrees north, also known as the Tropic of Cancer, at its highest point. So what happens during spring and fall? Well, there are 2 points throughout the year when the Earth's axis is neither pointed towards or away from the sun. These days are called equinoxes. There is an autumnal equinox that takes place in September and a vernal equinox that takes place in March. During an equinox, the Earth experiences equal amounts of day and night. This means about 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night, depending on where you are. The sun's highest point during an equinox is directly above the equator. A major component that determines climate, which is the year-round weather pattern of an area, is the latitude of a location. At the equator, which is 0 degrees north, you can expect constant warm weather almost all year round. However, somewhere like the state of Georgia, which is located at 32 degrees north, experiences warm summers with mild winters, despite what Snowpocalypse says. At the poles, you are likely to experience very cold weather to a mild summer, aka still very cold, year-round. The higher your latitude, the more likely you are to experience cooler climates. The closer you are to the equator, the more likely you are to experience warmer climates. And for this month's forecast, cooling weather with a high chance of a bulldog win. Go Dogs, and back to you, Megan. Looks like our chances of finding another planet like Earth in the next few years are similar to our chances of finding aliens. Up next, more dramatic than The Bachelor, Pluto's on-again, off-again relationship as a planet. I'm Megan O'Mara signing off, and as always, I love lamp.